First question's from Casey. Is there a fire pole in the fire station?
I'll take that one. Yes, Casey, there is. At our downtown station, Station 1, we have 2 fire poles, and I use them all the time.
All right.
Station 5 has a fire pole as well. Most of the stations that have 2 stories have a fire pole. Helps us get to the calls fast, especially at nighttime when we're upstairs. Get the faster response that way.
McKenna wants to know, where do you keep all of the equipment?
We have all of our equipment is like on the engines, so all of your engines have a bunch of equipment on it. This is our truck. This carries most of the equipment. It's got most of, like, a lot more equipment than the engines. So all the apparatus have all our equipment in there.
Yeah, kind of like a rolling toolbox. Everything you can imagine, the different things that we have to do. So whether it's a rescue, a traffic accident, a wildfire, a structure fire, a medical aid, all of those different pieces of equipment are stored on the different apparatus. And then we keep the apparatus in what we call the bay, or the garage bay. So just like at home, you might keep your car in the garage, we keep all our fire engines and fire trucks in the station garage, which we call the apparatus bay.
How was the fire equipment different 100 years ago? That's from Diego.
I think over the last 100 years, there's been countless number of innovations, but the one thing that comes to mind for me anyway is our personal protective equipment that we wear. So our turnouts, our jacket, our pants, our boots, our hood, gloves, those have improved tremendously. And if we go into we call it an IDLH atmosphere, which is a hazardous atmosphere that could cause us to become sick or die. Doesn't necessarily mean it's hot and smoky, but it could be a hazardous gas. We'll wear an SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus. So we'll essentially bring our own air into that environment. So that's what comes to mind for me, is the personal protective equipment that we have.
Yeah, I agree with Adam. And as well as now we have what we call a TIC. It's a thermal imaging camera, which is now allows us to find people who are down in like a hot environment, where we don't have any visibility at all, or we could even find fire hidden in the walls that we can see. We can see smoke, but we don't know where the fire is. We can put it in, and it'll show us the heat of the fire as well.
And there have been huge changes with the apparatus. It's interesting where some things have stayed continuous. As early as the Roman Empire, they were using fire pumps and water to try to extinguish fires, so that hasn't changed. But the type of pump, the volume of water we can put out, that's increased greatly. So in 1920, 100 years ago, what you would probably find in a fire station is horses, not fire engines, and a steamer, something that actually had to have a fire started to heat up water to cause the pump to pump, and then that's what they would use to actually put the water on the fire, whatever they were responding to. So we don't have horses anymore, we don't have a steamer, everything's a lot faster, a lot bigger, a lot newer, but a lot of the tried and true historical tactics are still used today.
Another question from Casey. How long does it take you to put on your fire equipment?
We are required to put on our fire equipment in under a minute. And so then when we respond to call, we should be out the door within under a minute.
Eros wants to know, how do you get people with wheelchairs or disabilities out of a burning building?
One of the requirements for us is to be very physically fit, and so we take that very seriously and try to lift weights and do cardio regularly so that we're able to physically pick up and carry people. We also have specialized tools for that. We have mats that we can use that are specially designed with sewed handles so we can lift up people and carry them. We also have a piece of equipment called a stair chair, and it's designed to move efficiently up and down stairs, so we can use that to help folks that are trapped or upstairs to get down quickly.
What do you do for fun when you are not fighting fires?
So after hours, which is after 5, is kind of our time. Like we mentioned before, we like to be, we are required to be physically fit. So one of my favorite things to do is to work out. Every station has a workout room or a workout section. So that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, we cook dinners together. Typically once a series, we'll all either pitch in or one person will cook the meal, cook the dinner for the crew, and so we spend a lot of time yucking it up around the table, laughing at each other, and that's always a good time. A few of us play instruments as well, so yeah, after 5 or in the evening time, us three tonight we have a jam session planned.
Okay.
I think this is
All right. What makes you want to be a firefighter?
For me personally, I think it's one of I just love the adrenaline rush, and I love fighting fires. But mainly, I love being able to give back to the community. I grew up in this community, so being able to help people who actually need it is a big thing. One of personally is I'm able there's a lot of people who have disabilities and who would give anything to be able to do my job, and I just I feel like I want to give back to those people who actually need the help, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to be strong and be able to do this job, so I don't want to take it for granted and do something in this world that actually means something to me. So that's one reason.
And I think you're going to find that to be true for a lot of people who get into the fire service. The initial draw is the job is fun, it's exciting. It's not the same thing every day. That's one of the things I really enjoy about it. I could be in Samoa fighting a grass fire one day, and I could be in Old Town dealing with a shoring operation after an earthquake the next. So that is really appealing to me, to have the different challenges to overcome every day. Another great aspect of the job is the teamwork that we get to do. It's a group of people that work together very well. We have similar goals, and with good people taking the lead, we can get a lot of really meaningful work done really quickly. And obviously, when you have that opportunity to save a life or impact someone's life in a meaningful way, those are really special moments. There's a lot of fun things that we get to do in the community, whether it be the different parades or different events in the community. We get to see a lot of people, interact with a lot of people, so you really get that connection to the town and to the community that we serve, and that's really enjoyable as well.
Are you ever scared when fighting fires?
Yes, yeah, it doesn't happen all the time, especially when you're newer in the career. There are things that you face that you're just not expecting. Like the first time you're on a roof that's on fire and you feel it start to sink down, or the first time that you're trying to carry somebody out of a fire and you're feeling the challenges of getting out of a room where you can't see anything and those kinds of things. But you have positive experiences, you work together as a team, you solve those challenges, and then it gets to be more and more comfortable each time that you do it. So I think the things that scared me early on in my career don't scare me now, but there are new challenges that we face as things change. For example, we several years ago started to run a lot of calls where there were a lot of explosions from hash oil, drug productions in homes. And so you'd start to go from where you had really comfortable surroundings in the emergency scenes to now you're dealing with something new that could be potentially very dangerous to people in the home and to us as firefighters. So when you start to face those new challenges, sometimes that can be scary. But with a lot of training and education and working together with the team, we overcome those challenges, and then I think that leads to more comfort in the job.
Yeah, I think if anybody employed in our career or in our line of work were to say that they never got scared, I wouldn't believe them. But I think through our training, we focus so much on safety and the correct, most efficient, safe way to do our operations, whether it's interior firefighting or rescue or what have you, that we rely on that training, we fall back on it. And so there's a element of comfort. You know, it might sound kind of strange, but if we're driving to a fire and we can see a column, it's like I kind of know what I'm going to do, right? I know what's expected of me. It's not all brand new. And that's through training, and it's through working with a good group of people who are safety minded and who I'm able to depend on, and I know that they can depend on me. And so we work together and we get our job done safely.
And one unique thing about Humboldt Bay Fire is we have more emergency responses than a lot of other departments do. So we fight more structure fires, we go on more car accidents, we have a lot of different challenges that we face, whether it be the earthquakes or the water rescues, things like that, that maybe other agencies don't have to deal with. And because we have that high frequency of call volume, it gives us opportunities to practice and to be proficient and become comfortable in those very dangerous situations.
All right, those were all my questions. Thank you very much.
All right, happy Red Ribbon Week.
Thank you.
Thanks.